Okay, beloveds, I figured out how to do that. You know I'm kind of slow with this, so let me just get back into it and we'll begin. Let me adjust this a little bit. Yeah. Um, as I was saying before I paused it, this is very, very powerful. Very powerful download, a very powerful transmission, a very powerful revelation. And let me just get on with it. And I've titled it Sorry Not Sorry. July 5th, 11:18 a.m. is when I wrote this. Because that's when I woke up, because I deliberately slept late because of the dark circles and everything, but okay, get into it. Sorry, not sorry. Unconditional love, aka existence, aka God, also known as Source, also known as the Great Spirit, also known as Divine Supreme Prime Consciousness, has no form. There are not enough adequate human words or sounds or gestures or images to describe that, to break it down. And I was told to look at the word describe, to unwrite, to take apart, describe its divine authority. The world as we know it has always existed based on contrast, known as duality. Well, the I am that frequency in me has turned up its ability to tune in and go inward to the silence and observe and imitate its frequency and vibration of the unseen. Beloveds, for those of you who are old enough, I want to remind you of the words rabbit ear antenna. I was a child of the mid 60s, late 70s, and that was a time where television was just beginning. Broadcasting, broadcasting, being able to cast signals out in a broad range. Think about what I'm speaking of, the frequencies and the vibrations. Okay? Broadcasting from a visual standpoint was just beginning. Radio broadcasting had already been established. Okay? But I really want you to tune in to what I'm speaking of when I'm speaking and saying broadcasting, and you understanding what you are tuned into, what you are picking up, what you are receiving, and what is being transmitted to you. It is no different than what I'm doing right now. What you are receiving are the vibrations and the frequencies transmitted from me through my energy, through this medium that we call internet, through this receptive thing called YouTube. Okay? Let me keep going because it gets deeper. And then I need you to understand, the rabbit ears. Um, you would use the rabbit ears or the antenna on your TV and on your radio station to tune in to get a better frequency because of the static, white noise, interference, whatever. You needed to adjust it. And the antenna helped you hone in on that signal that was being transmitted. through the airwaves. And beloveds, please think about this, because this is how spirit communicates with you. This is how you will begin to understand that source, your source, what you are part of, this universe, this universal frequency. So just let me get to it. Again, those rabbit ears. And it's so funny. Okay, I wrote it down. Let me get to it, because I'll sit here and blah, 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 blah all day. Okay. Beloveds, for those of you who are old enough, I want to remind you of the words rabbit ear antenna. And then I need you to understand the divine natural design of this wonderful creature. Physically, symbolically, metaphysically, the rabbit. Think of its use in all fairy tales, all his stories, and take note that it is the rabbit that is most tuned in to the existence of sound, aka frequency, aka vibration of the unseen. Now, there are other animals that are just in tune. The snake comes to mind. Some more were coming to mind, but the elephant through its feet. Anything that picks up the vibration from the earth, beloved. And the birds in the air with the feathers, they pick it up, through the air. So bats with their sonar and radar, fish. I really want you to think all of these frequencies are unseen, but we know they exist, and scientists have proven they exist by the inventions of ultrasounds, of radar with submarines, of microwaves, of cellular phones. You know how you can go somewhere and your cell phone don't pick up right? Because it's not located. You can't get a what? A signal. You're not receiving a signal. Also, I'm being told to express the rabbit in the pagan holiday of Easter and the Christian holiday of Easter, and the use of the rabbit and the eggs and the colored eggs. And understanding where I'm going with this, with the colored eggs, are the chakras and also the rays of the rainbow and the sunlight. Okay? Penetrating and going into this unborn. Because, chicks are in eggs. And we have to break out of that. And it is the frequencies of the sun that tell that egg when to hatch. The same thing with the babies in our wombs. All of that is determined by the sun frequencies that are being emitted. The resurrection will be determined by the sun's frequencies, where it is. These ultraviolet solar flares and certain things have to be in position for this coming back, this being able to receive these frequencies once again. We are here. This is the time. The frequencies are being received again at a greater broadcasting and transmitting frequency. And let me keep going. The rabbit ears. I need you to understand the divine natural design of this wonderful creature. Physically, symbolically, metaphysically. Think of its use in all fairy tales, Brer Rabbit, Bugs Bunny, all of Peter Rabbit. What was it? Oh, goodness. Oh, they just made a little cartoon of it. And it was so powerful. And I did a video on it before, and it's not coming forward. It's not coming forward. So, under the bridge or something like that. I don't know. Let me keep going because there's so much going on. Oh, okay. All his stories, and take note that it is the rabbit that is most tuned in into the existence of sound, aka frequency, aka vibration of the unseen. And you have I'm being given the eggshell connection to the rabbit with the moon. I'm also being given the jaguar moons association with the rabbits. So, beloved, there are a lot of different cultures that speak of this as a way of transmitting and receiving, connecting signals, unseen to the seen. That is most tuned into the existence of sound, aka frequency, aka vibration of the unseen. Rabbit ear antennas were used on old televisions to tune into a better signal, frequency, unseen signals that clarify sounds and images to give you a better reception so that you can tune in. Like I said, this was blowing my mind. And it's coming after a eclipse. It's just coming at when it's supposed to, beloveds. And I mean, we have always looked at this stuff. We've always had this but we've never truly understand that we ourselves are these so-called rabbits. And this insight and instinct, this tuning in, this self-inquiry is teaching us the value of frequency, vibrations, receiving unseen signals, tuning into what we cannot see with the physical eyes and the physical ears, but knowing that it affects us, just like the moon affects the tidal waves, the waters. We are water. Our emotions are affected. We don't see it. Some can't explain it. Women have moon cycles. Our menstrual periods are moon cycles. What was used to tell if a woman was pregnant? A rabbit. What was called lucky? The foot of the rabbit was called lucky because it could detect things. It could receive information before it was seen, before it was heard. Old radios have antenna for the same reason. You had to be able to tune in to the station, the signal, the frequency. Interference of that signal reception was static electricity, white noise. So, beloveds, you may not understand quantum physics, but I guarantee you know how to work that radio and that TV and these computers, okay? And it's being broken down to you in the most simplest of ways, the most natural of ways. There's nothing new under the sun. The ancients had this technology. All you have to do is look at their artwork, look at their writings, and forget what human beings have told you about a timeline, because that's a bunch of bull. Understand that the ancients were using frequency and sounds and vibrations and teleporting and all kind of things long before we got to the industrial ages. Okay, civilization is on the brink once again of collapsing the earth because many are refusing to be receptive to what she is showing us, to what we are doing. We are destroying ourselves because we are not tuned into ourselves. We are not tuned into our own needs. We're tuned into the egoic greed. And thus the whales are being killed, the dolphins are being killed, the waters and oceans are being polluted, our bodies are being polluted. We're caging children so that they won't be able to tune in because they'll be so messed up that they can't tune into the silence and the quiet. Let me keep going. That is the static. That is the white noise. That is the chaos. And if you are so tuned into the chaos, then you won't know how to be the center of the storm and be the quiet within that. You can't tune into it if all you've been conditioned to do is be tuning into the chaos and the drama and being fixed and worried about that. Oh, I can't do nothing. What is the world coming to? Oh my goodness. Oh, it's making me feel like this. That's because you're tuned in to the wrong frequency. Tune into that frequency within you that lets you know it has no ending and no beginning. And that it is so vast, nothing can destroy it. And even though to our eyes it may seem dead, it knows how to resurrect itself and be reborn again and again and again and again. I want you to think of the cartoon, the Iron Giant. I want you to think of those different things that Osiris, that which has been separated will come back together again because that is the divine design. That is the Iron Giant. Remember his little, the frequencies were bringing his parts and pieces back together. Those parts of him that were disconnected found each other by a frequency and by a vibration. Same thing with us talking about collectives now. We're looking for people with the same, our tribe, people with the same vibration, people with the same energy, people that understand what we're saying, people that are tuning in to bring about change. And that change is a transmission of self-identity. And that is back. And all you have to do is tune into who you are. Because this is the Aquarian age. This is that womb that we are in once again. And the water bearer is pouring those waters in. And because of those waters being poured in once again, we are able to hear and we are able to see and we are able to know and receive and transmit the unseen. Okay, let me keep going. Just like today we speak of the cell phone reception, cable reception, fire stick reception, router reception, for the ability to tune in to the right frequency, the right current, the right wave, the right vibration, so that we can receive clearly what is being transmitted. It's not blurry, and you can't doubt what you're receiving. You're getting it. And all of this works because of the universe's design. Wires equal central nervous system. Your receptors are only as good as the system, as your system is healthy. That is why mental health is so important, because it is your mental faculties that allow you to translate and interpret what you have received and to act upon it accordingly. But if you have all these blockages and your nervous system is rerouted and blocked up and just fried, burnt out, you're paralyzed. You cannot receive until you become healthy again, until your nervous system becomes healthy again. When a person has a nervous breakdown, that means they are not able to receive universal input. What's being transmitted, they've disconnected. They've gone out of range of the frequency. They are no longer communicating. When you have a nervous breakdown, and sometimes those nervous breakdowns are reconnecting you back to that source. And it's so much of a jolt that on the outside it appears to be a nervous breakdown and can't nobody understand what's going on and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But the indigenous ones always said, oh no, they're not crazy. They communicate with the unseen. Keep your nervous system healthy. Keep your nervous system healthy, and you keep your nervous system healthy by inquiring within, who am I? And once you make that inquiry, you get to a point where you understand there's a vastness within you that you are a part of, that is not separate from you, that speaks to you, that transmits to you, and you are able to receive its energy, its understanding, its knowing that you are not separate from it. So you don't worry about the storm that's outside of you. You don't worry about the chaos that's outside of you. You don't worry about what people are saying to you, about you, through you, whatever they doing. Can't touch that vastness, baby. Can't touch it. And when you start receiving from there, you understand that everything else is a weaker signal. If it's not coming from that I am, that I am, it's a weaker signal. So know thyself. It's been written down. Be still. Receive, because it's being freely given with unconditional love. It has never stopped. And it's in us cellularly and everything to receive it. Okay, let me keep going. Crystals, earth elements, particles, accumulations, vitamins, and minerals. All of these will help you with your nervous system. All of these will help you understand your nervous system. All of these raw minerals are in the television, the computers, the cell phones, the so forth and so on. And it is through them that frequency is emitted, transmitted, and received. It is the same thing with your body. That's why we wear crystals and say, oh, I'm aligning myself, or this crystal makes me feel better, or this smell, this oil makes me feel better. It calms me down. It changes your frequency. It changes your energy, changes your ability to receive and to transmit. Water/blood, the greatest conductor of frequency, sounds, and vibrations. Think womb. Think what your body is mostly made of. Water. Water. Blood is mostly water. It's got plasma, but it's mostly water, beloveds. Think about that womb, that baby, feeling everything that that mother is going through, the echoes that it hears, the vibrations of feelings from her feelings. When she feels fear, that baby feels it. When she feels love, that baby feels it. Because it's in that womb. That womb is ground zero. When I fell off that chair and I did that video and writings and whatever else, and the ancestors told me, oh, we taking you back. You can reset. We taking your butt back to ground zero. Ground zero is womb. That's the rebirth. That's learning how to hear all over again. From the beginning. From that vastness. And it's taken me, what, a year or so to finally figure out this transmission, to interpret it correctly, and to begin to integrate it as I transmit it to my collective, to my tribe. This is the Lord that is coming. This is the resurrection. This is the frequency coming back into our awareness. This is knowing that we are gods. This is learning how to manifest things in a correct manner. In that manner being unconditional love and not chaotic tantrums. Let me keep going. So that was the water blood frequencies and understanding the greatest conductors, understanding the whales and the dolphins are being killed, understanding what is going on with the ocean right now. Humanity is literally just like those whales and dolphins come out of that water because of that sonar. It drives them mad, it drives them crazy, it messes with their nervous system. The same thing is happening to us. And we are killing each other. We are committing suicide. We are committing genocide. We are killing the earth on which we live and which we depend on. Now, if you think the frequencies ain't got you gone, think again. When we speak of angels and demons and fairies and goblins and blah, 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 that is frequency as well, beloveds. And the frequencies influence us based upon what you are able to receive and what you are able to transmit and what you are able to hold and what you are able to repel. Right now, we're going through this big thing about empaths and narcissists. Understand the energy of each, understand their ability to deal with vibration and frequency based upon their crystallized forms, based upon their nervous systems, based upon their genetic predispositions as transistors, as receivers, as broadcasters, not just human bodies. We are all of this. And it is time we need to learn that. Each and every one of us. Okay. Hardwiring, the motherboard. This is your genetic makeup. This is your mathematical blueprint that determines your potential to receive and transmit energy frequencies, vibrations, etc. And beloveds, I really want you to think about that. Your hardwiring is your genetic makeup, and that is your predispositions, that is your programming. That is what allows you to be groomed, conditioned to receive the frequencies that you are prone to attract and to project. So when they say it runs in your family, understand that frequency runs through your family. Diabetes runs through my family. We have a tendency for our frequency to be to the point where we cannot receive enough sweetness in our surroundings, and it manifests physically in our body by stop producing insulin or producing only a little bit. It gets deep. The hormones, the secretions that coat the nerves, the frequencies, the motherboard, the matrix. Okay. Those whose abilities are heightened because of design have always been called the chosen ones. And I want you to think about that for a minute, beloveds. Okay, when you think of who the Israelites were and who this and that was and different periods in time and everything else, there's always been ones within ones, ones within the collective who have always had a better connection, a better receptive connection to the unseen. These were the medicine men, these were the priests, these were the healers, these were the chiefs, these were the miracle makers. These were the gods and goddesses. These were also the devils and the demons. Depends on what reception you're tuned into and what you choose to do with that reception, that frequency. Help or harm. Those whose abilities are heightened because of design have always been called the chosen ones because they are the rabbits. Blew my mind. They are the rabbits. They are the guinea pigs. They are the test subjects. How much stuff do we test on rabbits? They are the rabbits. The chosen ones are the rabbits. Blew my mind, like I said, how I am receiving this and how it is all tied up. And if you've been following me for a while, you know the rabbit has been rampant, just showing up, just hopping all over the place, okay? In memories with my mother, in writings that I'm doing, in just everything, that rabbit is showing up. And now here it is again, and it's being broken down in a way for me to understand it, not just symbolically, metaphorically with my eyes and with my mental capacity, but with my unseen understanding the frequency that went into the design that manifested itself as a rabbit that has a lore connected to it that has been observed throughout the centuries. And we're picking up on that frequency once again. Pay attention to the rabbit. They are able to tune in to the silence amidst the chaos. And if you think about a rabbit is quiet. And it'll sit there in its little ears and whiskers and paws and everything else will be picking up those vibrations. And it saves itself. It survives based upon that which is instinctual, integral to it. Its ability to tune in, no matter how noisy something is. If you've seen wild rabbits in the cities or in the country and they're hopping around, there can be a lot of stuff going on. And you're like, that bunny isn't timid, it isn't scared, it's going on. Because that bunny hears all of that, but it knows when danger will be. It hears all of that, but it knows that that stuff is not dangerous to it. That's just the white noise. That's just what's going on around it. But if it needs to pick up on something coming at it, it will pick it up through vibration instinctively because it maintains that silence, that vigilance. It's not listening to the outside. It's listening to the inside. Just like a mama knows her babies cry. And she could be upstairs, downstairs, wherever she at, and may not hear that baby physically, and may not see that baby or that child, but she know by vibration, by an instinct, by an intuition. Let me go check on my baby. Something ain't right. Learn to tune in. The rabbit, they're able to tune in to the silence amidst the chaos, white noise, interference, receive and transmit that back into this reality. I have for a while now been confronted with energy, vibes that tell me, warn me to be quiet. And when I say this, beloveds, please understand, and I'm going to get to it, it's written down a little bit more, but I want to break it down a lot more. Simply because it's time. So many of us have been conditioned to not tell, to be quiet, to don't air our dirty laundry. Don't tell what's really going on. You put a mask over it, you hide that, you put a smile on your face. You act like everything is okay. Don't speak up. Don't you talk about it. If you have healing abilities, just like when I was little, My father was afraid people would come and steal me. So I was told to shut up. I was told the things that I was seeing, the things that were coming to me, you don't say that. You be quiet about that. And I want you to understand that that came from the deepest place of love within them. Because so many lifetimes, these chosen ones were sought out. They were burned at the stake. They were drowned. They were killed brutally and horribly for their abilities to tune in and translate and transmit into the reality that we, the seen, the unseen. So I understand why these messages come. I understand why certain ones say, shh, just be quiet. Just be quiet. I have been quiet. I was told as a child to be quiet. I'm being told to speak. So I'm going to speak regardless. And it's not about pride. It's not about, I think I'm better than somebody else. It's not because I'm in a competition. It's because this is how I'm wired. It's because this is how I came into the world. And this is my purpose. And I have died many times carrying out my purpose. So understand, those of you who see, those of you who hear, those of you who receive, it is time to give. It is time to transmit what you have received. It is time to give it up. Give up the ghost, so to speak. Let the ghost speak. And those with ears and those with eyes will receive it. Those that do not, will not, cannot, baby, that's on them. And it is not your purpose to save them. It is not your purpose to fix them. It is not your purpose to make them understand who they are. That's an individual journey. Know yourself. See yourself. Hear yourself. Know that you are one with the universe, and what is coming out of you is one song, baby. Unconditional love. Know thyself. And don't let somebody make you doubt that. Not with fear, not with offering you money. You just transmit. You are that crystallized, crystalline being who has emerged to transmit. Serve your purpose. Serve. Okay, let me get back to it. I have for a while now been confronted with energy vibes that warn me to be quiet. To be quiet is a way of the ancestors, the elders, the sages, the wise ones. That did not they did not mean be silent and shut up children and shut up. Wait a minute. They did not mean be silent and shut up. Children should be seen and not heard. How many times have we heard that? Women should be seen but not heard. In other words, your instincts, your frequency is not good enough to be listened to. What you're trying to transmit is not worthy to be heard, is not worthy to be felt, is not worthy to even influence the collective consciousness. So you be quiet. You shut up. That's conditioning. That conditioning is what has gotten us to where we are right now. That is the frequency. Some call it the beast, some call it the matrix, some call it the devil, some call it whatever. But that is why we are here. The ego. That is why we're here. That is the duality. That makes all the noise so that you can't hear your inner voice, so that you can't receive that inner frequency, so you cannot tune in, so that you cannot inquire within, who am I? It did not mean take your language, your signs, your symbols, your ability to tune in, to receive, and to transmit away. I want you to think, every time somebody conquers another consciousness, what's the first thing they restrict or take away? Your words, your language, your way of communicating, your vibration, your frequency. What is programmed into you through your blueprint, through your crystal? And if you don't hear those sounds and tones no more, yeah, you're going to be lost. And then whatever is you're starting to hear, that will resonate with you, and that will start being what you receive and transmit back. The signs and the symbols. Think about what they're using the swastika for, when what it originated with was something totally different. Think of the S on Superman's chest is a symbol for hope. It is what tunes him in to the frequency, because he is a starseed. And the sun transmits its rays in a way that gives him super abilities, or makes him a chosen one, makes him sensitive, heightens his abilities to receive in his nervous system, so he has abilities. It did not mean to be silent. If you are raped, beaten of in the face of injustice, that you just bear it and deal with it because this is your life, this is the wrong interpretation of that silence. You remember how Whoopi in The Color Purple said, just take it, just bear it, just deal with it, because you're gonna be dead and gone in a minute. You go to heaven, so it just deal with it. It ain't gonna do no good to holler, cry, and moan. What's done behind closed doors stays behind closed doors. If you don't see it as a problem, then you never come up with a solution. That is the wrong interpretation. That is the wrong frequency. The opposite, the mirror opposite, the lie. From the ego, the other wolf, other voice, other frequency, reptilian mind, the devil, whatever you need to call it. We are not only to receive, we are also to transmit the truth. So we're not only to receive the truth, beloveds, but we are to transmit that same truth. That is why we even have things that are written down. That is why we have pictures to look at now. That is why we sit there and what are they trying to say? And we are at this time now where it is the frequency. We are heightened, and we'll be able to translate exactly what was being said. And it's not about understanding so much the language, it's understanding the frequency. Okay. And beloveds, right now, the greatest frequency that needs to be broadcast is the truth of who we are, the truth of our connection to the frequency that enables life and the animation of life and the composition of matter and form, but does not have one because it is so vast. That is why we were told, write it down so the children will know. Know thyself. Frequency and vibration receiving and transmitting is the currency of all the ancient civilizations. And beloveds, I want you to think of civilizations when they began to trade with one another. They didn't know the languages, so they would do signs and sign language and point, and that's because those things had there was a universal language. That universal language is still in play, still one verse. The Egyptian tombs show this in design. The scarab beetle pushing the dung ball full of its own babies into the sun, so that the sun rays, which give out frequency vibration signals to our own internal codes, are activated, and we are born and thus reborn. Speak your truth. Do not boast or brag. Do not be full of pride or think you are better than in the wisdom of unconditional love. The sun shines on all. Even when the skies are dark with clouds, thunder, and lightning, the sun shines. That is the essence that the ancestors wanted us to tune into. That's the quiet in the storm. Tune into that light, that way of being, that vibration. And the chakras and everything else. Tune in, attune, align. We are never alone. We just have to tune out the white noise, that which would interfere in your pure reception. Knowing that the interference is caused internally as well as externally by your sadistic mind, ego, doubt, fear, low self-esteem, conditioning, and your masochistic personal identity, which is I am better off doing what my sadistic mind tells me because it is my maker and master. It knows me best. It is my leader. It is my God. It has created me in an image of itself. My ego has created me in this conditioned outside manifestation of itself. But it is not the creator of the original frequency of existence. And that is what we are beginning to receive. And that is what we're beginning to understand is the message of the ages. But we had to get once again to this Aquarian age to be able to receive this and to be able to transmit it, excuse me, in the way that it resonates once again in our consciousness, individually and collectively. Instead of tuning even that frequency out and going beyond all that can be seen and felt with the physical body, and tuning into the spiritual frequency, the unseen, that which is without a form. So, beloveds, we would rather, because of conditioning, because of grooming by the ego, egoic identity, for us to be slaves to it, because we are slaves to the identity of the human form, that which is seen. Only because we do not identify with what is unseen, the true frequency that animates, that which makes the heart beat, that which makes us breathe. Ain't got nothing to do with the ego. It's a universal vibration. It's a rhythm. Breath is a rhythm. Heartbeat is a rhythm. It does it because it's a universal expression of the frequency of unconditional love. Existence itself. That without a beginning or an ending, that which cannot be called good or bad, because it is a pulsating force, a vibration, a vibe, a frequency, an impulse, a small voice, an instinct, a gut feeling, a sense that you pick up with your rabbit ears that tells you, that informs you, that transmits messages and frequencies to you and for you to receive, see, know, and access, and that you transmit out into the world, knowing these, knowing those with ears will hear it, and those with eyes will see it clearly. So, this transmitting is what we call projecting. You project a vibe before you walk into the room. You project a vibe with what you have on, the colors you wear, the facial expressions, so many different, these are frequencies. People pick up on these frequencies. A blind person can touch your facial and see you. Because of the frequency, your vibration, it picks up the vibration. Deaf babies hear that music from the vibrations. Back in the old days when you saw the Indian, cowboy and Indian movies, the Indians would put their ear to the ground because they were in tune with picking up and sensing vibrations. When you use a dowsing tool or a pendulum, you're tapping into a vibration or a frequency. Divination, you're tapping into a stream of a frequency. Past, present, future, multidimensional, unseen, but knowable, receivable, interpretable, and transmittable. That's what I'm doing right now. And it will go over the heads of those that can't. Those with ears will hear it, and those with eyes will see it clearly. And it will go over the heads of those that can't. Those that are so wrapped up in their egos and that are so attached to their egos and that are so attached to their physical way of being, the scene. The scene means more to them than the truth. Because they can hold on to it. They can see it. I can see this, so this is real. I have more than you do. You can see that. I am a chosen one. Just like the emperor in his new clothes. Those that are not able to receive will hate you, fear you, ridicule, and revile you with all the works of the flesh. And beloveds, don't take that personal. It's because they have not tapped into that frequency within themselves just yet. They haven't gotten past their egos. They haven't gotten past their programs of survival, their past life experiences. You stay focused in you. They can handle that. You just keep, when they come at you like that, Care Bear stare that love, project that love, unconditional love. Project that I hope you know who you are. I hope you live to see that in this lifetime. I hope you're able to forgive yourself for all that you have done on your journey to knowing who you are. Because everything that was done to you, everything that you did was to help you understand the unseen frequency and vibrations and the way unconditional love communicates so that you can attune yourself to that. Stay tuned into your frequency with the fruits of the Spirit. They are your lucky rabbit ears and feet. And with your oh, okay, that's the end of that. And I wrote a, I'm not gonna call it a poem. I'll say prose or just something that oozed, that needed to ooze out of me. Okay, and it's entitled "With Your Permission." The most powerful and beloveds. Let me just set it up a little bit. Once again, I've been celibate, and um, I've been looking into why that is and why I can't just go and be with anybody. And I'll just give it to you because this answers it perfectly. This, with your permission, the most powerful way to test what I have spoken is the intimacy involved in making love. Because all is unconditional love. You tap into the frequency and you say you are turned on. When you tap into that frequency of unconditional love, it turns you on. Your senses become heightened. You tap into being the chosen one. Okay? You're ready to receive and transmit that signal, that essence, that energy, this feeling. You're ready to manifest it with your senses, to enjoy it. This, because all is unconditional love, you tap into this frequency and you say you are turned on. You are turned into the frequency of, you are tuned into the frequency of the divine. And I can't read my writing. The divine. You are tuned into the frequency of the divine, whether self, pleasure, or with a partner. When you have tapped into and received and transmitted the highest frequency that you are capable of, this is called bliss / orgasm / coming into yourself equals fully tuned in. Now we know why sex sells. Now we know why sex is what it is. Now we know why the ancients drew about it and what they were trying to convey, and why it's always connected with the spiritual, and what the Indians, why they call it bliss, and they worship the phallus and they worship the vagina or the yoni because of the frequencies within and the frequency that takes place with the joining. What is symbolic of unconditional love? Birth, rebirth, multiplying, reproducing, giving and receiving, transmitting a frequency, a vibration. With your permission, there is an intimacy that turns you on, that opens you up, that allows you to sing that universal song in all kind of arias, okay? All kind of rhythms and genres and everything else, okay? It allows you to experience that ecstatic state of oneness, of all the frequencies that there are in that moment, in that time. Just think if that were the only frequency that existed. If we understood ourselves enough to understand our connection is this, and this is the frequencies that we should be emitting. And it is not egoic. It is not lust. It is not rape. It is not violent. It is not dominant. It is about giving and receiving with your permission. Let me keep going. Blew my mind, okay? Blew my mind. When you have tapped into and received and transmitted the highest frequency that you are capable of, this is called bliss. Orgasm, coming into yourself, equals being fully tuned in and turned on. The ancient houris, whores, prostitutes, priests, and priestesses resided in holy temples built upon sacred land, grids, mountains, mounds that were designed for the reception and transmission with the rays of the sun to penetrate the earth. Did you get that? The rays of the sun. The earth was used, okay, in mounds. What's a woman's? It's a mound. Mountains are known as females. The sun rays penetrate her, the earth. There. That is like ringing the bell. You can ring my bell. Ring my bell. Okay? That light penetrates the earth. It creates a frequency. It creates a sacred vibration. One that allowed the universe to be born. One that gave itself a Milky Way. That were designed for reception and transmission with the rays of the sun to penetrate the earth. And these most sacred ones would align you sexually, balance your chakras, bring you back to ground zero so that you could be fruitful, so that you could receive and transmit. Thus, manifest and maintain paradise, ecstasy, peace, and unconditional love. And beloveds, I want you to understand that you can find the truth of this even in the Bible itself. Of when, I forget who the man was, but Tamar was his daughter-in-law. Her sons had the father, his sons had been married to her and they died. And by the law, she was entitled to reproduce from that seed. And their covenant had not been fulfilled. And so she took herself to where she knew her father-in-law would go to align himself sexually to one of these houris, horizons, her of Zion, priest, priestess. And he lay with her, and she became pregnant. And when they were ready to do whatever they were going to do to her, she told them, this is your baby. Break it down, this is your baby, okay? And by law, I am not out of order. So look into it, beloveds, and understand what the sacredness of a temple is. It is to restore balance. So seek out the other person's permission. Can I get intimate with you? Can I open you up enough so that I can experience the God in you that is within me? Can you help bring that out? Can you help turn that on? Can you help me emit that frequency? If we understood our sexuality in this manner, it would resonate on so many other different levels that so many things would be instantaneously healed. And it's not just about how to become a better sex partner or how to please another. It is about learning to relate and to emit and receive a frequency. That frequency that you're emitting and everything else has nothing to do with your penis size, has nothing to do with how tight your vagina is. It's a much deeper connection than the physical. And you have to have another's permission to reach that pentacle, to reach that, what is it called? That height, that kind of ecstasy, that is divine ecstasy. That is an imitation of the true Big Bang. So, beloveds, you've got to get out of your ego to get to that vibration, that vibrational frequency, because it's not based upon what another being looks like. It's not based upon how much another being makes or has in their bank account or things that they have. It's based upon their ability to receive and to transmit unconditional love. Okay. a harmonious consciousness, oneness. You dig? Universal, one frequency, one verse. And with your permission, can we tune into that frequency together? And just go there. Okay, that was that. And I did say I was going to do some tarot cards, and I've already pulled them before I did this and went to the pages. The first one we have is the Five of Stones. Five of Stones. And the Five of Stones is on page 153, which is a 9. The giveaway. Prayer. I shall love my work enough that it is fulfilling in itself. Though I have paid a price and can rightly ask others to pay a price for what I offer, I will give away some of my work simply because I have loved it, and for love, it can be given. I abide by the spiritual law of tithing. 10% of my bounty belongs to my people. I give not in order to receive, but because I have already received. Woo! Aho. Mother Earth blesses me every day with the elements of true happiness. Earth, wind, sky, trees, flowers, the song of birds, and the foods that nourish me are but a few of her gifts. In her name, I return my wares to others. It may seem as though you have lost something. Your situation has changed, and some of your assets are gone. But remember, you took this risk when you were at the Force of Stones, basic survival. Did you dip into your security stash and sacrifice your own well-being to serve someone else's will? Did you hold back your talents, abilities, or true convictions from the material with which you were working? Don't get attached to this temporary poverty role by adopting a poor me attitude. Reevaluate your position. Take stock of your current resources and review the lessons of the stones up through this card. It is time to exert mental discipline. Appreciate yourself. Practice contentment with what is. Re-image your future and relax into the wealth you already have. Change is near. The giveaway can be a totally positive experience if you have provided for your own well-being. Put your heart and soul into your work for the sake of itself rather than for reward. And are willing to give yourself first efforts and are willing to give your first efforts away to someone you love. This is the spiritual level this card is asking you to reach. Powerful. And I'm going to keep going because there are more. This is card number 53. The law. Oh, did I say that card was from The Medicine Woman Inner Guidebook by Carol Bridges? Okay. These cards are from Abraham Hicks, Entering the Vortex. First card is number 53, The Law of Attraction, a Symbols, Happy Relationships. And look at those, they're 4 faces totally in this card. And it's very deep. It's very deep. And look at the greater and lesser lights as the eyes. One of the eyes is the earth, one of is the sun, and it's just very deep. Okay. The law of attraction assembles happy relationships. The law of attraction cannot bring you a well balanced, happy person if you are not yourself already that. The law of attraction, no matter what you do or say, will bring to you those who predominantly match the person who you predominantly are. If you are not happy with yourself or with your life, the attraction of a partner will only exaggerate the discord because any action taken from a place of lack is always counterproductive. So, beloveds, what is coming from that is work on yourself first. Know thyself. Inquire within. What are Have the courage to see yourself, all of you, in your nakedness. What is positive? What is negative? Where it stems from? Are you truly looking at it from an unconditional place of love within yourself? Are you ready to transmute that frequency? And know that when you are doing this, the one who you are to be with is also doing that. And the law of attraction, which is part of the universal song, harmony, frequency and vibration, magnetism, will work on your behalf because you've given it the permission to do so, because you're tuned in, you're turned on. The next card, 21. A belief is only a thought I keep thinking. And that is that egoic mind and the self, the masochistic self that identifies with whatever that mind comes up with. That identity agrees with it because it is the mind that created it, that has conditioned it, that has groomed it to listen to it alone as the truth, as reality. And so that masochistic self depends on it to be led around, to be guided. And it rejects any other truth. It's very hard for it to look at another way of being, another way of knowing and identifying with itself, because it is still under the control of that egoic mind. And that egoic mind does not want to lose its throne. It does not want to be dethroned. It wants to be the ruler. It wants to be God. It wants to be the influence. It wants to be the only voice you hear. And it is going to convince you that it is loving you unconditionally by telling you all these things, by putting you into all these situations. And the masochistic little self just, okay. But there's a part of you that's looking at everything and saying, that can't be right. That's messed up. Why? That don't make sense. A belief is only a thought you keep thinking. Look at all those eyes. Even around her head is an eye. I want you to see that. This is just a deep card. Okay, and it was 21, which is a 3. And that's that Trinity. That's that sadistic mind, that masochistic ego identity, and then there's the truth of who you are. A belief is only a thought you keep thinking. A belief is only a thought you continue to think. A belief is only your habit of thought. It's only a practiced thought. A belief is only a thought that you think a lot. So, if a belief is only a thought that you keep thinking, and you keep thinking a thought that is in opposition to what you want, then the reason you don't get what you want is because you keep thinking a thought that is in opposition to what you want. You see how powerful you are? I want to lose weight. I ain't gonna never lose weight. Oh, that food look good. I'm just fat and that's gonna be that. Oh, this and this and this and this and this and this. What is your attention going to? My family was fat, all of them fat, so that's why I'm fat. What are you feeding? Not what the thing that you want. I want to lose weight. That's not what you're focusing on. I can't lose weight. I can't. I have tried. This happened and that happened and I did it that time and this happened that time and I can't. I can't. I can't. It doesn't happen. No matter what I eat, no matter what I do, I can't. I can't. I can't. But I want to. Like I said, thank you, Mama. Um, this card is number 30. Our varied behavior adds to the planet's well-being. Our varied behaviors add to the planet's well-being. And I just see puzzle, mosaic, the world in her face. I see her holding it up like this glass bubble. Um, there's an inner aspect and an outer aspect. There are three of them. Um, and I can show this. Let's see. Ugh, I can't. I have scissors. Okay. This is 1, 2, and 3. Those are the lines that I see. So this is a multi-dimensional kind of card. Okay, let's get to it. Also, I see the nervous system. The nervous system in there. Okay. When you remember that nothing can come into your experience without your vibrational invitation of it, with your permission. And when you remember that the varied behavior of others adds to the balance and the well-being of your planet, even if they offer behavior that you do not approve of, and that you do not have to participate in the unwanted behavior, and will not unless your attention to it, you become more willing to allow others to live as they choose. And beloveds, that's, baby, you got my permission to be you. And I give myself my permission to be me. And me is going to be this. And that's not going to intersect with what you're doing. It's not going to agree with what you're doing. It's not going to go along with what you're doing because of where your focus and your attention is going. My focus and my attention is going into me. what I am receiving and what I am transmitting. If you are more concerned about what I am receiving and what I am transmitting instead of what you are receiving and what you are transmitting, you looking in the wrong mirror. Your mirror should reflect you, should not reflect me. Know thyself, not know somebody else. First, know yourself. And then you ask permission to know somebody else and for them to know you. And that's from a place of love. Okay, the next card is going to come from the messages from your animal spirit guides, and the honeybee was chosen. Let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority in this situation. Honeybee. Let compassion and forgiveness be your top priority in this situation. So no matter what somebody else is transmitting towards you or projecting towards you, you are letting compassion and forgiveness be your top priority. Be what you want. Be what you're projecting. Be what you're sending out. Okay. Honeybee. To reap all the sweetness that life has to offer, focus on compassion and forgiveness. Compassion means that you have heartfelt empathy for the suffering and misfortune of others, yet remain somewhat detached so that you don't take on their sorrows and distress as your own. Forgiveness requires that you first acknowledge and accept responsibility for your judgments, not theirs, your judgments, rather than pretending they don't exist or professing to always sustain a non-judgmental attitude. See, that's self-inquiry. That's that intimacy with yourself. Looking at you naked. Ain't nothing hidden. All your truths, all your flaws. The next step is to release those judgments. To do so, think of someone past or present with whom you have judgments or criticisms. Trust that the first person that comes to mind is the appropriate one to start with. Consider 2 or 3 specific criticisms that you have about this individual, preferably captured with one word, such as selfish or cold. Find a quiet place. Go inside yourself and look for that part of you that's exactly like what you're judging in the other person. It may be a very prominent part of yourself or a rather small aspect. You may identify it with recalling times when you've behaved in ways that resemble what you're criticizing. Once you discover that part of you, simply say to it, I love you and forgive you. If necessary, repeat this 2 or 3 times and notice any emotions that come up. In the coming days, be aware of any feelings that arise that may be associated with this experience. Practice this at least once daily for the next few days and watch what happens. Associations with the honeybee: productivity, community, cooperation, sweetness, love, compassion, forgiveness, rhythm, awakening, nature, poetry, mother goddess, royalty, and nutrition. And beloveds, that is so powerful. That is so powerful because it takes you into self-inquiry. It takes you into learning, becoming intimate with your own frequency, what you receive and what you transmit outward. And this is just, it also helps you with understanding that we are all mirror reflections of each other. And when we judge something in one, we have attracted that to us so that we can see it in ourselves. And that is how we solve what is going on with us. That's the law of attraction, the law of magnetism, and several of the other laws, manifestation, and just all of it. And it's all unconditional love. Okay, the last card is from the Isis Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild, and it is Cartouche, Divine Names of Power. Cartouche, Divine Names of Power. Okay, here we go. Lady Isis initiates you now into her special mysteries. The use of sacred intonations. Beloveds, if that's frequencies and vibrations, intonations. And if you're intimate with intonations, even when you are speaking a mantra or seeding a mantra or humming or singing, these are the intonations that are coming forth. Okay, that you are transmitting and that you are receiving. The words that you speak are rapidly gaining power. To benefit from this power, rather than be undermined or held back by it, practice thoughtful speech and clear your heart of old unforgiveness, which can poison your words unintentionally. As your heart grows in purity, you will be able to speak with spiritual authority, and what you speak of will come into being more swiftly and obviously. Isis is initiating you as a master healer in her sacred tradition of divine names of power. And beloveds, again, with self inquiry, you are having to reprogram that sadistic mind. That sadistic mind is, if you think of yourself as your body, your vehicle, as a temple being ran or a car being driven, it has been ran from the ego's perception. It is being driven by the ego's vision, perception, authority. And now you're saying, I am reclaiming my temple. I want my car back. I can drive myself. I can maintain my own temple. And so you're kicking that ego out. And that ego ain't going to go just because you say, okay, that's it. You don't flip that switch like that. That ego is going to keep trying to do the dance with you. And you have to keep saying, no, no, I don't do the funky chicken no more. No, I don't want to do the Watusi with you. No, I don't want to two-step. No, I don't want to do the jit. I don't even want to watch you do it. I know where you're going. No. So give yourself permission. And if you, the music, you get caught up in it and find yourself doing the funky chicken in the Watusi. So wait a minute. You got me. Okay, and stop. Don't keep going. Stop. And say, yeah, you got me, but I got you because I'm finna stop. And tell whoever's around you, forgive me. I'm learning to be better and do better than that. I'm changing my frequency. So if you see me getting back in the old ways or snap, crackle, and pop, understand. I'm bringing myself back into alignment, and you can always say out of love, I see you. And that'll snap me back because I'll have to see myself. Okay. As your heart grows in purity, you will be able to speak with spiritual authority, and what you speak of will come into being more swiftly and obviously. Isis is initiating you as a master healer in her sacred tradition of divine names of power. You are being initiated into the divine healing tradition of Isis herself. Isis works through the divine names of power. These are sacred words of strength, magic, and power to create healing from a place of compassion and devotion to love. She honors that which is worthy of protection and uses endless determination, combined with her skill of speaking words of power to cause life to thrive, and that which is not worthy of cultivation, which would not serve life, to dissipate and decline. That goes to speaking your truth. That goes to transmitting. That goes to not being quiet. By your being quiet, you allow it to grow. By your speaking, you diminish it. Be the medicine. Be the cure to the dis-ease. Divine names of power are the mantras, sounds, and names of the divine in all traditions. Isis will bring you her name to begin, offered to you as a sacred gift to be worked with as a mantra of protection, of feminine grace and divinity and healing. You can use her name as she instructs you to do so in the ritual below. A word, phrase, or mantra that is given through initiation is like a light bulb that has been plugged into a lamp, emitting a frequency, connecting and emitting a frequency. The intuition switches the power on, turned on, tuned in. The use of the word by the initiate is like a lamp shining its light. If you have been interested in using your voice in some way, for writing, singing, healing, speaking, or becoming a spokesperson for a particular cause that resonates with your heart, this oracle of the cartouche brings guidance that Lady Isis honors your desire, encourages you to explore, and shall protect your process. If you have drawn this oracle of the cartouche, along with the oracle of the ancient power mysteries, you are guided to more seriously explore sound, healing, and mantra as part of your own path. And if you are a healer, you are strongly encouraged to explore these healing arts as a way to unfold your own spiritual talents and perhaps incorporate these techniques into your healing practice in a way that feels true for you. The Oracle of the Cartouche reminds you that invoking the power of speech and word for your strength, protection, and spiritual growth will work effectively for you. Sometimes thinking and saying no is the most powerful word you can say to honor personal choice and create a safe boundary for yourself. Sometimes affirming in thought and speech, I choose to see the divine within this person, this place, or this situation, is another way to cut through drama and use the power of word in thought and spoken expression to create powerful healing. Choose to use your words with wisdom and pure intention, keeping in mind that with more power comes more karmic responsibility, and therefore always surrendering to the greater good in unconditional love is a good idea. There is no shame to surrendering to unconditional love, to the ways, to the art of unconditional love. Tell unconditional love you have my permission to rule over me, to inhabit me, to guide me, to lead me, to be my master instead of my ego. Become intimate with the ways of unconditional love, the frequency, the vibration, the responsibility of it. Become one with it. Become one with unconditional love so that that's what you radiate. That's what you transmit, and that is what you receive, and that is what you manifest. Because that is what you want. Above all else is unconditional love. Give it the permission it needs to radiate inwardly, outwardly, with you in oneness, intimately. Okay. Choose to use your words with wisdom and pure intention, keeping in mind that the more power comes more karmic responsibility, and therefore always surrendering to the greater good in unconditional love is a good idea. With this approach, your gift will grow strong, and its effect, intentional and unintentional, will be as spiritually clean and helpful as possible. As spiritually clean, intentionally and unintentionally. Spiritually clean and helpful as possible. You will become a greater force of love, peace, and power on this planet. The Oracle of the Cartouche also suggests that you discern the effect upon you of the company you are keeping energetically and physically. Sometimes the thoughts and words of others, their vibration, can enhance you or leave you depleted or drained. If you are drawn into negative speaking in order to bond or fit in with others, you are asked if it is worth it for the effect it has on your own vibration. And beloveds, like I said, we are easily sometimes, the ego will hook us right back, and we can easily be brought right back into situations that we have said we have outgrown, or that we have let go of, or that we are no longer attracted to. So you have to forgive yourself, and you have to say to yourself, no. And you have to say to whoever is emitting, transmitting that energy, projecting it towards you, no. And excuse me for going along with you, but no. No, I'm stopping now. I'm getting off this roller coaster. Thank you. And do it with love. Love for yourself. You can use words of power to cleanse any cords or contracts that would lower your vibration into a fearful place in order to come back to love, to help you stay true to yourself, and perhaps even inspire others to think or speak more positively when they are around you, not from a position of judgment of another's choices, but from a position of wisdom, realizing, the effects of such choices. Ritual of the Cartouche. Say the incantation below. I call upon Isis, who loves me unconditionally. Teach me to speak powerfully from a place of love and peace sublime. Beyond time and space, my words will shine like diamonds with beauty and strength immense. They bring divine truth and cut through pretense. Beloved Isis, initiate me into your words of power. Your healing grace descends upon me as a heavenly shower. Close your eyes and imagine that you see into your own heart a space of light opening up. Within this space of light, you see beautiful winged Isis in a blue robe of initiation, holding a cartouche, a long tablet made of precious stones and metals with sacred symbols inscribed. Upon her brow there is a vulture headdress, and over her head the hood of the blue robe rests. She lifts her arm, resting the cartouche against her body, and with her right arm she gestures toward it. You understand that she is motioning for you to reach out with your right hand and touch the tablet, which you do. The cartouche becomes pure energy, vibrating and pulsing with life. Now new symbols appear, which are the gift of a divine name of power, especially for you. The symbols carry vibration, and they represent the actual sound of your sacred word from beloved Isis. She motions to you to reach forward and touch the tablet with your left hand, which you do, and you feel love, light, and power from the cartouche and the vibration of the symbols themselves entering your body through your left hand. That reminds me of Reiki. As this happens, Lady Isis leans over and whispers the sacred word, her gift to you now. In your ear you hear, Isis, Aset, and she may or may not whisper another word or name as well. Whatever is whispered by the lady into your ear at this time, it is the sacred word of protection and healing for you now. Let the energy from your arm and ear penetrate your entire body as unconditional love, wisdom, light, and divine power. Breathe in and out when you are ready. Say thank you for this gift, beloved lady. May I use it with wisdom and mercy. So be it. When you are ready, just open your eyes. You can say this incantation to bless your words and undo damage that you may have unintentionally done with your words or actions in the past. Grace of sweet Lady Isis, cleanse me now of karmic crisis, of words said in haste, their effect and cause. Help the spiritual momentum now pause. Negative repercussions now cease. All involved are filled with peace. Your names of power end the pain. Dissolve unhappiness, bitterness and strain, creating new webs of light and healing. Divine unconditional love now revealing. Wow. All of that was so tied together, beloveds. I'm very grateful once again to be used and to just have the flow of energy replenished and to find it so nourishing in its very essence, in it being the very foundation of existence itself. And knowing and understanding that you are part of that frequency, that vibration, and the vastness that no words can describe. And understanding the necessity of permission. Permission for yourself to love yourself unconditionally. The permission of working on yourself so that you are working with the universe. You're giving the universe permission also. You're connecting with it. You're tuning and turning on to what you truly want and not what you don't want. And you're recalibrating your frequency and your patterns and your behaviors simply by you being able to identify them more. You are getting comfortable in the driving seat. You are getting comfortable in the maintenance of your temple. So it's a very beautiful thing, beloveds. And with all the chaos going on around you, understand how to keep the balance within you is to tune in, use your rabbit ears. You know, those 2 ears we're always putting up, use those rabbit ears, beloveds. And those rabbit ears are peace, peace and love. Funny how things work out, huh? It, like I said, the more you look at it, the more it truly blows your mind. The more it truly blows your mind, like I said, and to realize the timelessness of all of this. That this is the knowledge coming back from the ancients. This is the vibration. This is the age of Aquarius. And like I said, it is all you can do is be grateful to existence, to unconditional love, because it deserves your attention. It deserves you to adore it. It deserves your worship. It deserves your praise. It deserves your gratitude. And the more you connect and get intimate with giving those things, the more you receive them back within yourself, because you're acknowledging you're one with unconditional love. And when you are adoring that unconditional love, that existence, you're adoring yourself. You're being one with yourself. You're uniting intimately with yourself. And the ecstasy and orgasmic bliss, the peace that radiates from that, nothing else can match it. And you realize this is what I've been waiting for my entire life. This is the satisfaction of my curiosities. This is the answer to every question that has ever surfaced within me. And it's only going to get deeper and deeper and deeper as I give it permission to be more intimate with me, as I am more intimate with myself in my self-inquiry process. Okay. Namaste, beloveds. I hope this resonates with you. And I send unconditional love. Be loved and be blessed. Namaste.